What's going on, everybody? Adachi here with some more LC news. I'm gonna try and expedite this. I feel like I say that every time and it turns out not quite the way I want it to turn out, but we're gonna see how well we can go through this real quick. So first things first, we got the new Valentine's event. This event is going to be split into two parts. First part starting now, and then next week we're going to get the second half. There's a little bit more to this event than some other events, but really not a whole lot. It just looks a lot more than what we usually get. Looks like they're condensing the story into this little chunk right here. They're not actually telling a story through like cutscenes or anything like that, which is kind of whack, but saves us some time, I suppose. And this event right here is just a whole lot of nothing, really. Basically, this is a big-ass fluff screen. This is just going to record how many monsters or how many quests we clear in total, and this is among the entire global player base, so you know, just make sure you're clearing out your events, and we're gonna knock out these rewards real quick. And you click the grade button right here, and it'll actually show you the rewards that you get for the 3 tiers of this little thing that it's got going on. And it's got this little call for backup tweet thing. This is just another way of them trying to promote themselves, but this isn't actually going to help you whatsoever, so don't be fooled. Just play the event like normal. And starting on this event, they might do this for some events going forward. I don't know if they do them with all of them, but you're going to get some bonus event points based on the units that you use, as well as some boosted XP and AP. You can check these numbers out yourself. But the bonus event points here is going to be for all the story units, you're going to get an additional 20%, and Hobgobble and Gobble are going to give you an additional 10%. This is for your point rewards. And then the new unit, Summoner Lina, here is going to be a 50% boost. Once again, this is just going to stop or prevent a little bit of grinding, so it's going to cut your grind just a little bit. You know, subjective how helpful that is, especially if you're just going to be using this to help your grind out anyway. But yeah, the biggest boost is going to be on the new unit. That's to be expected, but pretty much everything else is just free, so I wouldn't be too concerned over the extra boost that Lina gets here. And this is cumulative, so if you use 3 units, let's say 3 story units, you're going to get a 60% boost. Yada yada blah blah. The only thing that isn't going to count is your support unit, so just take whatever. This is showing that big fluff screen again. There's going to be 3 reward points, and it's just saying that these are the pictures you're going to see based on how far you are in the event. I know, really underwhelming there. And then the second part of the event, this is exactly how the Christmas event did it, and I believe that this event's going to go into the event rotation, so we should see this more often, probably around like seasonal events, and maybe it's something they consider a little more important. An important thing to check out for this event is go to your friend list tab and then change your gift here from what I hope is set to friend points to these hearty messages. You're going to want to accumulate these, as I believe this is the only way you're actually going to get more of these. If we take a look at the event shop for said messages, we're going to get 5 time-limited SR or higher tickets right there, and some tier 3s, some tier 2s, 9, yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I'm surprised a lot of people actually have problems with getting tier 1s, but if you really need to stock up on those, this is your best bet. Yeah, there's almost 10k sitting right here for you. And then some gold, no big deal. And then I'm just going to jump into the next shop right here, so that way we can cut down a little bit. So in the regular event, we're going to be farming up, you know, the currency here. We're going to farm up some point rewards. Here in the shop, we are going to have 2 more time-limited SR higher tickets. Really dope. And then we're going to have this new piece of equipment here. I really like this little art style, this little suit going on here. I like the Valentine suit, it's dope looking. This is going to be a piece of cloth armor with 70 defense, 30 mind, and it's going to give the passive for men only. This could mean also that it is only going to be able to equip by men. They're always very ambiguous when it comes to these things, but for men only increases movement speed and adds beast type to unit. Once again, no idea what the beast type unit thing does, but there you go. It's an okay piece of cloth armor, and more gear always helps because I feel like we're always kind of lacking in gear, but it's a decent defense and a decent mind boost on a piece of cloth armor. Also has 10% lightning resistance, could be useful, and then reduces your earth resistance by 10%. Going down the shop, some pretty standard stuff. We're getting some clusters right here. Doesn't look like we have a rainbow cluster, unfortunately, but one of each of the regular clusters, a bunch of tier 3s, tier 2s, tier 4 awakening, tier 3 awakening mats, and looks like that's about it. Are these tier 2s? I don't remember anymore. Here on the event page, like I said, you can click grade and it'll show you the rewards you get. So for the first part of the clear, you're going to get 30 tier 1s, and you're going to get 1 time limited ticket and 1 time limited SR ticket. I'm going to commend Idis for this one. I'm actually going to give you some props for this one. We're actually getting quite a lot of tickets for this event, which is really dope. I would love to see a lot more tickets if we're at least not going to be getting more crystal rewards. And here in the point rewards, I'm just going to go real quick over. It's looking a lot more like JP rewards now. I mean, I feel like global rewards have been getting shafted pretty badly when it comes to these events, but this is looking a lot more like a JP shop. Early on, I can already see 5 standard tickets, which I value just as equally as I do the SR tickets. It's just they usually give out more of the regulars than they do the SRs, which is why I prefer these, because it doesn't matter to me too much whether I'm getting a rare, an SR. I'm still going to be at the same % chance on getting a SSR. We have 10 orb refill pots, time limited right there, another ticket. 10 more pots right here, another ticket. Another SR ticket, more pots, more pots, more pots. Holy shit, that's a lot of pots. We got some clusters going on down this list. Then we have another piece of cloth armor. This one is going to be similar. 47 defense, 60 mind. And the passive for women only, more likely to be targeted by enemies. Healing magic, costs -1 MP. So that's pretty neat for any healer. I mean, basically, Lina and Summoner Lina right there. And then it gives you 10% ice resistance. So neat little thing to get there. And then at the bottom of the list, another ticket, 30 Mother Souls, great, and Etherean. Always love to see more Etherean. So dope rewards. Definitely make sure to clear out the rewards, the event rewards, and then the shops here. And then we have the new banner. Now, Summoner Lina, just real quick in summary, she's not amazing. She's not that great. I wouldn't say you really need to pick her up. If you're picking her up, it's because you really like Lina. But one interesting thing that I'm seeing with this banner, and Idis isn't dumb, they know what they're doing, so this is going to be a less desirable banner since a lot of us players already know what's coming from JP, and she is definitely not going to be carrying us through any content. But if you're lacking a healer, this is a great banner to pull on because her rate up is going to be at 1.5%. That is half of the unit rate right there. So we're seeing some cool things with this update. I mean, I don't think we're going to see this rate up on like some more desirable banners perhaps, but this is still pretty cool to see for like filler banners and whatnot. A 1.5% rate is pretty insane. It'll actually make pulling off banner summons a lot more worth it. Now, if we're going to continue to see this 1.5%, you can't really argue that that's a bad rate when the unit rate is already at 3%. I mean, it's still a total 8% SSR, but now half of that unit rate is just going straight to the rate up here. But once again, I wouldn't expect to see that in a lot of the banners. He's also going to get 90 souls instead of 30 for dupes. So once again, this is probably going to be the best banner period to ever pull Lina on, or the Summoner Lina on at least. Then we also have the SSR arc, Abandoned City of the Sea, and the rare arc, Pockle Eater. Going over the arcs real quick, the unique passive of the Atlantis one is at the start of a wave, restore all skill SCT by 15 seconds. Physical damage plus 20% when MP is near empty, nullify strength down debuffs from enemies. This one's insane for physical DPSs if you want to just for that unique passive alone, because oh goodness, oh god. Because this is going to restore all of your skill SCT by 15 seconds, so for the first 15 seconds of a wave, it's just gonna boost that up. It's gonna be really great for things like tower, especially. Going to boost your physical damage by 20% when MP is near empty. This is going to be really good for if you're going to be taking sharp eyes into a lot of longer quests, or like I said, the tower. A lot of these things are going to pertain to tower mostly. And then nullifying strength down debuffs from enemies is just, you know, another nice little bit of icing there on the cake. Skills it's going to teach is Brave, which is blah. Stock skill 1, this is the first time we're going to see this, and this is pretty cool. Increase the maximum stock of the first skill, so the one at the top left, your S1, you're going to go from, like, say, Randy's S1, which has 3 stocks, it's going to go to 4 stocks held. It's pretty cool, but overall pretty niche, as not a lot of units are going to benefit a whole lot from holding more stocks in their S1 or any skills in general. Maybe S3, because a lot of units do have some more interesting skills on their S3 there. But don't take my word for it, I'm not exactly putting into account every unit in the game right now. I'm sure there's some units that have some great S1s that this could actually benefit from. The next skill being Fast Ice Wall, so at the start of the wave, you're going to get Ice Wall automatically activated. Dope ability right there once again. Brave Phaser, all allies strength plus 20%, dope buff there. I don't know if this is the first time we're getting it or not, but either way, cool to see. Then we get Silence Nil, you know, iffy, whatever, maybe you can slap that on, especially for when Arena drops. And then at max level, it's going to give you Grand Brave, so boost an ally strength by 35%. So cool, that is definitely the first time we're going to be seeing that. Can be useful, can be important. We kind of need more difficult content to constitute actually spending the SC and MP to be using Grand Brave on units, so this would be good for, like, you know, any bosses that come out in the future, but not necessarily something like Tower, unless you're already planning on burning through a refresh there. Then the rare arc, Pockle Eater. I really like the art on this one. Unfortunately, I can't show it, but the unique passive is going to be recover 30% of max HP when defeating plants. Whatever. Poison resistance plus 2, whatever. And then plants, or against plants. Is this against plants or for plants? And initially I thought that this last passive, or the last part of the passive was pretty cool. It says plants, critical damage plus 50%. Idis, you really need to work on these translations, they're terrible. But I thought that this meant against plants. I believe this actually means if this is equipped to a plant type unit, it's going to increase your critical damage by 50%, which is really whack. If this was against plant enemies, then it would have been really great, but seeing if it's just for plants, then it's immediately not good. The skills it's going to teach is Fury, which increases strength close to death, Mimicry, adds plant type to user, Plant Killer, whatever, Poison Research, it's already available, I believe. Whether it's available or not, it's not exactly worth it. And then the last bit, which is actually really good, Corrosion Fang, a probability to debuff enemies during normal attacks, so physical attacks do plus 20% damage. Just another bit of damage that you can stack onto one of your physical DPSs, so really, really dope to see there. And you can realistically throw this onto any of your allies as long as they have that spare SC and they're going to be able to go up there and whack the enemy. Apply this little corrosion debuff. Yeah, that one's pretty neat, but this isn't going to make you want to pull for the banner. It's a rare, you're going to pull it one day eventually. Last, we're going to take a look at Summoner Lina. Now, Summoner Lina is going to be kind of a less healing Lina. She's going to be more supporty, and she's going to have kind of a little unique mechanic where she's going to essentially buff any summons and help increase the summoning gauge speed. Her S1 is going to be Spirit Wolf Sir, and neat little thing, similar to Bapoi, she's going to send out summons in her skills. This is just going to be a short range ability that's going to push enemies. She's going to summon out her little Spirit Wolf. Her S2, Light of Saint Ray, restores HP of all allies and boosts mind, so neat little heal there, and it's going to boost your mind, so good for a lot of bosses that are going to be casting a lot of spells. For S3, Garden Bardis is going to be a big kind of like spinny move around herself. This is going to be an Earth Element attack, and it's going to heal up Poison and I believe Berserk. It's translations, it says Violence of, I believe that's going to be Berserk, which isn't something that we typically have to worry about, so And her S4 is going to be Alice Flow. I think that's what the translation said at least. This is going to be a light AoE attack. It's going to smack the whole screen. And it's also going to give everybody a buff. Again, translation weird. It says, I believe this is re-raise, so essentially it's going to be a short timer on a buff. If you are to die while this buff is active, you're going to get res right there. If that's not the case, this is just a revive. So one is pretty cool, one is less cool but still useful. Our first passive is going to be Soul Refinement, which is going to boost your summon gauge accumulation rate by 5%, so it's just going to make those summons come out faster. And our second passive, Mind of Mind, when a wand is equipped, magic spells and skills are no longer interrupted except for some attacks, so basically a movable object on her for both her skills and her magic. Both of those skills are pretty meddling. The only one I think is kind of decent is Soul Refinement, which can help boost up your summon gauge a little bit faster. But even if it does go beyond like a 5% modifier, that's still not exactly insane. You're not going to be pulling out Yggdrasil out of your ass like a whole lot faster or a whole lot more often, really. And we're not going to go too in depth with Summoner Lina because again, she's not too insane, but I wanted to go over a little bit over some of her unique abilities that she actually gets that I don't think are available anywhere else. The first being Yggdrasil's Protection. This is going to give all allies protection and magic barrier, so a 20% magic damage mitigation buff and a 20% physical damage mitigation buff when you summon Yggdrasil. So not only are you getting the res, you're getting the heal, you're gonna get those mitigations. Actually, if they're needing to be res, they might not actually get the mitigation, so this might only work if all of your allies are alive. So only the allies who are alive are going to get buffed, I assume. Next is Kami no Mi. That's definitely going to be a different translation, and hopefully I'm going to read this translation right. But when a debuff is dispelled, you are then going to actually get that buff activated onto yourself. That's a pretty neat skill, but again, that's nothing wild. And the last passive is going to be Summon the Beast. This is going to increase the damage to enemies from summons by 30%. So just a 30% damage boost on your summons. That still doesn't make them any good. They're still ass tier. You're still only going to pretty much run Yggdrasil or the little cat Salmea or whatever it's called. The only spell I really wanted to go over for her was Grand Aura. Similar to Grand Brave, this is going to be a 35% increase to intelligence for a single ally. Again, I believe this is going to be the first time that we see Grand Aura. Unless Christmas Theria had it, I think she had Grand Brave as well. Yes, I believe she had Grand Brave. So I think this is the first time we're seeing Grand Aura. So neat, but once again, not making her a must pull whatsoever. In summary, Summoner Lina is very okay, not a must pull, not all that great. This event is pretty neat, and the raid up is badass. That's all from me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Psych! I gotcha. I almost forgot. We have a follow and retweet campaign going on over for the Last Claudia's Twitter, so make sure you're following them over on their Twitter page and retweet out whatever tweet that this contest is a part of, and it's going to be split into 3 parts. You're gonna get all these rewards, and they're going to probably make a new post every week. And then what we really want is the total. I believe at the rate we're going, we're gonna hit the 500 total retweets for the 1 Ethereum. But make sure you're following them over on Twitter if you use Twitter whatsoever, and then retweet out their posts, because at 1K retweets, we are going to get a multi-pull ticket. So, help them out, help me out. I want free shit.